Hello friends and my dear students. My name is Dayal Chakraborty and welcome to my channel Pegasus. I have already given 4 lectures on Marxism. Those who have not yet undergone those 4 lectures, I am strongly recommending you to visit those lectures. Because without understanding those lectures, you cannot understand my next lectures on Marxism. They all are very much interlinked, connected, well connected. In the first video, I had discussed the origin of the classical Marxism. I had discussed the architectural metaphor given by Marx and Engels, base and superstructure. Then in the second video, I had lectured on alienation effect. Then in the third video, I had also discussed the modes of production, historical materialism, those theories, important theories given by Marx and Engels. And in the last video, I had remembered, I had given some discussions on Soviet socialist realism. What was Lenin's view on art and literature? What was Stalin's view on art and literature? I had talked about all these things in my last video, right? You have to know all about this because today I am going to study with you a very important aspect of Marxist theory, that is ideology. Ideology is popularized by one Marxist post-structuralist theorist and whose name is Louis Althusser. Yes, this video is on Louis Althusser. But before that, we have to know what is Marx's point of view, Marx's concept on ideology. If you have seen that Bengali film Hirok Rajar Deshe, directed by Satyajit Ray, this video on ideology will be very much simple to you because Hirok Rajar Deshe by Ray is a film on Marxism basically. It talks about class struggle, it talks about the conflict between the master class, the ruling class and the proletariat. It talks about ideology and how it works. In that film, there is a part where some peasants were put into a room in the court of the king Hirok Raja. And that room is called Jantar Mantar Ghar. And why those peasants are put into that room? Because the peasants were not able to give the tax because of the poverty. Now what happens? Just coming out of the room, they started to talk about this line, Baki rakha khaj na, mote bhalo kaj na, meaning they will give the tax. In which way, if they have to sell their own blood or any organ, they will give the tax to the king. What happens? This is ideology. This Jantar Mantar Ghar is washing their brain. This is what is called brainwash. When their brain has been washed by the ruling class, by the master, by the king of the state, they started to talk that speech, that language which has been put in your lips. They started to see that scene which has been shown to you by the ruler. You are listening that thing which has been put in your ear. This is ideology, the effect of ideology. To the Marxist, ideology is a set of belief or a set of ideas, believing in which we live our lives. Meaning, ideology creates a set of ideas, creates a set of belief, which makes us blind to our own situation. In which condition, in which situation we are living, that is absolutely veiled by the effect of ideology. So ideology is nothing but a kind of creator of illusion. Now the question is how this ideology works and who are creating this ideology. Karl Marx very minutely observes that the rulers of a state, of a society, the master class, they will use the political power in order to represent their interest as the general interest. Meaning, I am talking about my interest, but I am showing that, look, I am doing all these things for you. This is your interest. This is not my interest, I am talking about your interest. I am working for your interest. But actually, I am working for my own interest. This showing, this projection of, or better to say, this misrepresentation of our actual reality, the actual reality of the common people, is the germ of Marx's concept of ideology. And that is why Karl Marx is sometimes very much critical of the concept of state. State, which I had told you, is all about Rashtra. He is always critical of state because he thinks that the state is nothing but an agency. He is giving a definition of state. He means that a state is an official committee. That committee is only created for managing the common affairs of the bourgeois. So what is ideology to the Marxist? To the Marxist, ideology is an invisible power that makes us believe two things. What are the two things? They make us believe, first, the way of looking at ourselves is natural. Whatever we are looking about us, our situation, our condition is natural. Another thing, the way of looking at, the way of seeing the world is natural. Meaning that we are exploited, that we are subjugated, that we are suppressed and tortured. All these things are distorted. Those realities are distorted. So, ideology is creating, by this way, in these two ways, is creating a kind of distortion of reality. Friedrich Engels very precisely has used a phrase in order to project that illusory world created by ideology. And the phrase is false consciousness. This phrase, false consciousness, is very important. False consciousness means that we are living with a consciousness, with our beliefs, which is false, which is fabricated, which is created. Who are creating it? The master class, the rulers of our state. Now the situation is something like that. We are speaking the words which are told to us to speak by the rulers. We are seeing those pictures surrounding us, the pictures which are shown by the master class. Which we are seeing those things which are projected before us by our rulers. We are hearing those things which are actually put in our ears by the rulers. This is the workings of ideology. Now the question is how this ideology works. In which way? What are the ways of working of the ideology? Here comes the French structuralist Marxist Louis Althusser. We have to say extensively on Althusser when we are talking about ideology, because he is one of the gigantic figure when we are talking about ideology. He researches a lot on Marx's notion of ideology. Actually, Althusser has added many things in Marxism. He has added state power, state apparatus, state control. He has talked about extensively on ideology. He talked about extensively on Marx's notion of superstructures, how literature is associated with ideology, whether literature can be free from these ideologies or not. He talks a lot on these things, and I will discuss all about these things part by part in my next video. So stay tuned, share and subscribe and keep learning. Thank you.